to, I would like to introduce one of our fantastic Teacher Ready instructors, depending on how long you've have been since you completed Teacher Ready, if you're one of our alumni, or if you're currently working through the program, you may have already met Kim Rhodes. She is fantastic, and she's going to be presenting on our topic about open house prep today. So Kim, hello.
I wanted to first share with you that I teach Lesson 7, Engaging in STEM. And as she said, I'm one of the new instructors here, and I absolutely love my job and working with the teachers. I currently have an additional job on top of that where I'm an administrator in a public school. So when they asked to get together with me and create this presentation, I said no problem. So if you're ready, let's move forward. All right, welcome to Connecting with Parents, Open House Prep. Our whole presentation today is going to be focusing on how to prepare for open house and making those connections really last. The first thing I want to go over is why. Why do we want to connect with our parents during open house and what's so important about it? This initial meeting sets the tone for the entire school year, and first impressions matter. They're lasting and they're significant to building those positive relationships. And establishing a rapport of respect and trust up front will encourage your parents to be more supportive of you throughout the school year. Now we're going to find out why, and that's because when you ensure that first contact with parents, you want to make sure that it's positive, warm, and welcoming. You want to organize and prepare to set your structure and tone for a successful open house, and you want to make sure that your presentation's ready. Handouts are copied, student work is displayed or available, your room is cleaned and organized, and textbooks and other resources are out for parents to peruse. It's really important because, as I said before, those first impressions matter. And when parents come to school, sometimes they're nervous. Their last experience may not have been a positive experience. So you want to make sure that you forge a really positive, welcoming relationship with your parents, that they come in, they see the rooms organized, they see everything's ready to go, and that's really going to get you off to a great start. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the first parental contact. Then we'll go to the pre-open house prep, open house basics, post-open house, and then resources. So with your first parental contact, you want to make sure, as I said, that you want to forge those positive relationships. You want to be the one to make the first initial contact. Make your introduction and make it with a personalized phone call. This is your first chance at lasting impressions, so try to call as early as possible and make sure that it's quick but it's positive. You want to help your parents feel secure about the school year and about your classroom. You want to set the tone for the year, share your excitement about having their child in your class. Emphasize that your classroom is a safe, inviting, and nurturing environment for your community of learners. And you want to involve your students. You want to get your students excited because when they get mail, they get really excited. And a personalized letter or a postcard from you shows that you're really excited about them coming and that you're inviting them to become part of the learning community. So send that postcard to your students and welcome them to your class. And while you're doing that, put down a really exciting thing that you're going to do throughout the year that you know most of your students will get excited about, whether it's a field trip or maybe a visitor coming to school. And if I'm going too fast, please let Mandy know. I'll be more than happy to slow down or repeat something if you need me to. All right, so our pre-open house preparations. We split them up with teachers, students, and in the environment. Make sure that your presentation's prepared. You want to prepare your agenda or some, depending what grade level you're teaching, your syllabus. And you want to pre-copy any additional handouts and resources. This is your first chance to make a lasting impression. So you want to make sure all of that's there and organized. But before you begin your presentation, check with your grade level or your department chair first, because sometimes they already have a presentation already made and all you have to do is take it and tweak it. So make sure that you check with them first before you end up doing some extra work. You want to have your students create some invites for their parents and have students select some work samples for their portfolio. Now, before I get into that, I want to go back and touch on presentation real quick. You want to make sure that you go beyond the traditional PowerPoint. That could be, you want to include pictures of your students engaged in learning. You could have pictures of some exciting class experiments or projects, or take it up a notch and actually embed student interviews about what goes on in your class during the day, where your students could report out with specifics. You want to basically showcase how great your classroom is and what terrific things are going on with your students. And as far as your agenda and your syllabus, make sure you put contact information on there. Do the school phone, but also do email. And what's really will be beneficial to you is if you go ahead and put your availability time. Sometimes parents don't know that between 9 and 10 you're teaching a discrete mathematics course and you're not available for visits. Go ahead and put your availability time before school, after school, if you want to give up some of your planning time for meetings, and that way it's already set. You've set it for the year. And as far as portfolios, as we get to the students, you want to have your students select some of their work samples for their portfolios. Now, a portfolio doesn't have to be a really big deal. It can be something as simple as a file folder, but you want to have your students highlight the work that they're really proud of, and you also want to incorporate some standards of academic goals for the year. And last, with your environment, when you display your student work, textbooks, or curriculum resources, make sure that you're aware of what's called FERPA. It's the FERPA law, and basically what that says is you can't share other students' information to different parents. So when you're showcasing your students' work, don't put a last name, only put a first name, or put initials, or put the name behind the work. But make sure you showcase the great things that are going on in your classroom. And last, of course, make sure that your class is clean, organized, and inviting. So basics when it comes to open house. You want to make sure that when they're there, you present a very pleasant and welcoming environment and help your parents feel comfortable and excited about the school year. You want to make sure that when you're communicating with them that you highlight the big ideas and make eye contact while you're talking. You want to also be careful to streamline information for your parents and leave time to conclude with a Q&A. So when you're covering those big ideas and essential topics, you can always leave the details for your parents later, either in a private conference or in future newsletters. And you want to make sure that you're keeping your parents engaged. Interactive presentations can include a variety of items such as checklists, scavenger hunts, answering questions via a smartphone with apps such as Kahoot. You want to avoid reading your presentation word for word and try to give your parents a quick look at what the expectations for the year are by having them work out short instructional activities or instructional tasks. And that way, and you'll be surprised, if you pull out one of your more challenging tasks for your students and set it up in the classroom, your parents will be really surprised at the level of rigor that's expected of their students, of their children right now, because parents are still assuming that education's the same as when they were children. And we all know back then you didn't have to know your multiplication tables till 6th grade, then now it's 4th grade, now it's 3rd grade, you actually get presented with it in 2nd grade. Things are much more challenging nowadays. And then connecting. You want to share ways with parents, how parents can be involved with their child's education, and make available a Classroom Hero sign-up list for classroom needs. Now your Classroom Hero sign-up list, that replaces your traditional volunteers list, and this list can include a variety of needs such as field trip chaperones, guest readers, materials and supplies needed. Make sure you fill it out and make a big deal about it. Who wants to be our next Classroom Hero? Here are some areas that we need some help. Don't say volunteers anymore. Make it a big deal. Get them engaged with saying Classroom Heroes. And then last, be respectful of your parents' time. Keep your presentation short, clear, but meaningful. The post-open house tasks. First of all, you made it. All of that hard work will eventually pay off, and you're now ready for your next steps. Remember to keep your lines of communication open. So within the first 24 hours, take a deep breath, smile, and relax. Then celebrate yourself for making it through this milestone. Within the first week, you want to send out thank you notes to your parents who attended. And you can upload your open house presentation and artifacts to your class website or a class blog. And then within the next few weeks, revisit your Classroom Hero sign-up form and identify early on any areas that you're still in need of assistance. And that way you can put out a call. Hey, heroes, I'm still in need of a couple heroes for this area here who would like to put on their cape and join us. And create a class newsletter and keep parents abreast of upcoming events or classroom needs. Because the more organized you are and the more you keep your parents abreast of these projects and needs, if you do it in a timely and opportunistic manner, that will really not only support your environment, but your parents will be able to have the time that they need to secure that time away from work so that they'll be able to join you on these great adventures. All right, so with resources, we have a variety of resources here. The first one, first three actually are websites, and these are actually articles that if you click on, because Mandy's going to give you this PowerPoint. If you click on this link, it's going to open immediately to teachervision.com, and it's an article about parents and new teachers. Then the next one with the Education World, that's the top 8 tips for a great open house. I really like this article, this one a lot. There's a lot of great ideas here. And then, of course, Teacher Hub, back to school ideas to host successful open house. Now, those are just 3 articles. If you go in and Google open house and make it a specific search, such as elementary open house or high school open house or IB and open house, you'll find plenty of resources. Down here with videos, these videos right here are a different variety. So this one right here of sample open house, this is actually a video presentation of where a teacher created an interactive presentation where it starts off as if you're actually riding on a bus going to her classroom at her school. The next one below that is simply a gentleman who's actually gotten ready for open house, and he's videoing his classroom. He's showing you how materials are up and arranged, how he set things up. So this one's a great video too. This video right here is a little lengthy. It's one teacher, but she's giving you 10 tips from her perspective as a teacher of what to do for open house. So like one of the tips on hers is to have a little checklist in a scavenger hunt. And she goes into detail about how to make it really easy for you. This one right here is definitely a lengthy video. I believe it's about 23 minutes, but it's multiple teachers, and they're coming together and they're talking about how to build those strong relationships that go beyond open house. Of course, we have our social media collections and Pinterest, and with Pinterest, there are over 1,000 ideas that you can get in images for your open house. Oops, did I click that? I did not mean to click that. Sorry, guys. All right, so one of our featured resources is Kahoot. And I mentioned that briefly, and so what I'm going to do is before we get ready to play Kahoot, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to get your smartphone. It can be an Android, an Apple, any smartphone, or if you have an extra tablet by your side. Oh, look at Mandy. Thank you, Vanna. That looks great. And get that ready. I'm going to play the video from YouTube on a quick guide to Kahoot. It's only 5 minutes, and then afterwards we're actually going to play a quick 3-question game of Kahoot. And the reason we're highlighting this is because Kahoot is a great resource for open house. You can go ahead and have some questions in there so that when you're at the end, they're sort of recapping your high points. Or you can have a Kahoot for the beginning of the open house to get some background information. How many of you all have moved more than 5 times? How many of you all have moved more than 10 times? Whatever you want to do. But let's go ahead and start this YouTube video and play it.
Point system, it has interesting music and visuals, and what I like most about it, not only is it engaging for the kids, but it's easy to set up, and I would say it's easier to actually pull off and play in your classroom with any device, and all you need is one projector or one way to share out the access code in any place you play. I'm going to show you how to quickly set one up. First, you're going to go to getkahoot.com. This is the teacher side. This is where you're going to set up your games and save your games. And then Kahoot.it is where any student would go. So as long as they know to go to Kahoot.it, they can go to on their Chromebook, on their laptop, on their iPad, any device they have, even their phone. As long as they go to this address, they can get the game and they can play. So once you sign in, it's going to give you a dashboard with your public Kahoots that you can play, and also how to create your own. So we're going to create a new one. Go to quiz. Name. And then you're just going to enter your questions. This I'm just going to say name that president, and then I'm going to choose an image. You don't always have to add an image, but it is a nice little feature, particularly if you're going to do something like this where they just have to name the president that is an image file. Click choose file. Start out with give a little preview, see what it's going to look like, and then you enter your answer choices below. Once you have your choices in, you're going to click below the correct answer. It will turn green, and then you know you have the right answer in there. If you're done with your quiz, you just click Save and Continue, or if you want to add a couple more questions, you click Add Questions, which is what I'm about to do now. I'm just going to put 3 in there for the sample video. Oh, another thing is that you can change the time limit. So you can make it anywhere from 5 to 120 seconds per question. We'll make this one 10 seconds. And once you have all your questions entered, you click Save and Continue. Then you get a quick preview of your questions, how long it takes, and then how many word choices you have. Okay, to finish up, you're going to choose the privacy settings. We're going to make it the public one to share out. Audience, we're going to click Tool, quick description. And lastly, any tags if you want people to be able to search for this. And before you're done, you can actually choose to add an image or a YouTube video with background that will display in the lobby. We'll do an image file here. Use the presidential seal. Preview of it, and then you click Done. Now this is going to show up in your dashboard, and to start playing, you just simply play now. And you have a couple options. I usually like to randomize the questions in the order of answers. Now once you launch this, it's going to give a student pin, and this will allow anybody on any device to join Kahoot. So let's just enter this in the desktop version, and what I'm going to do is also join this game from my Chromebook and from my iPhone.
Bless you.
After you join, I'll say to put in a nickname. And you can see the nickname that I put in here just showed up on the dashboard. Now, this screen is what you're going to show your students projected out onto the screen. This screen on the left is what the students will see on their device. Now I'm just going to enter the game from my other 2 devices. Now you see all 3 of my devices are into the game. If someone joins that you don't want in the game, or if they just have an inappropriate name, you can actually exit them and kick them out of the game. Once you start, you just press Start Now. Again, this on the left side is what the players will do. Okay, so you have the options here, and on the student side, they would just choose the image, or the shape and color of the correct answer. Okay, so once the time's up, it'll say how many correct answers there were, how many students or people chose each answer, and what the correct answer was. Now, from the student side, they actually see, for instance, this student, or the person on the desktop, shows how many points and then what position they're in out of the total class. Then on the teacher side, it'll have a ranking that you can show the class of who's winning the game. Now, it's not just who gets it right, but how fast they answer, which is a really cool part of this. It makes it engaging for the students because they're not just racing to get it right, but who can answer this the quickest. All of us got it right on that one. So now it comes down to timing. The iPhone was the fastest answer, so that ended up winning this particular game. Now, once you're done, you get some final feedback and results. Students can rate rate it on how fun it was, whether they learned something, and also if they recommend it, and they can also say how happy they are. And you can see this actually automatically pops up giving you feedback. And once you're done, click Final Results. And you can download your results if you want a spreadsheet to track your data, or if you just want to play again and have some fun, click Play Again or Play Different. All right, hope this helps. It's a fun, engaging game for you. I recommend it. Enjoy.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to play a quick game of Kahoot, and I'm going to go ahead and start my game. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. And if you would put in for, all you have to do is, let me turn that down, hold on. All you need to do is put in this pin, go to Kahoot, and put in your pin. There's 2 players. We're waiting for any more. You ready?
I'm ready. I think Audrey's
Okay.
ready too.
All right, I'm getting ready to start. Let's go.
All right. Can you maximize the screen? No, never mind.
Sure. All right, both of you got it. Ensure that the first contact's positive. Way to go. All right, let's go to the next one. Mandy, you beat Audrey. All right, way to go. Both of you got it again. Let's see who got there first. Audrey, she's beating you, Mandy. And here's our last one. All right, both again. So let's see who it is. Audrey, you beat Mandy again. So Audrey wins. She had all 3 correct. And let's look at the feedback and results. Now, if any of you all rated me, that's where that would come up. And then I'm going to do the final results that we talked about, that we can either save, download, play again. So that is Kahoot. As you can see, it's really fun, and it's something that we could do, and it's very, very valuable. So if you want to create your own, just type getkahoot.com in your browser, and you're ready to go. All right, so let's talk about the reflection and application. Mandy, do you want to take this part, or do you want me to finish up with this? And what about, are there any questions?
Well, let me unmute anybody. Let me unmute everyone. And we can just talk about it as a group. It's something, you know, as far as practice that we definitely teach, reflecting and finding out what, you know, what you're planning, how you plan to apply your takeaways in the field, that continuous improvement process. Is there anything specific that you learned that that you had not thought about as part of your planning process for open house prior to anybody prior to joining the session today? Any ideas that you want to use, or any ideas that you use to better prepare your classroom for open house? Anyone?
Hello, can you hear us?
Oh, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, great. I'm Bonnie, and I have another second grade teacher here in the room with me, and we really love the idea of having the students make invitations.
Isn't that great?
It is awesome, and I never would have thought of that. I think it's great to get them involved and excited, and it's going to be really meaningful to them and the parents.
I agree. I have to agree. And I think, is that one of the ones, Kim, that I tweeted about? 'Cause
No, I can't remember. I remember you tweeted about making the first parental contact.
yeah, well, I loved that idea too. I have to agree with you. I mean, because
Yeah,
how much
I
fun
think-
would that be to involve the students in that? And what I was thinking is possibly finding a couple Pinterest ideas aligned to that. And when I send out the follow-up, maybe just kind of guiding y'all in the right direction as to where to find activities to introduce that to the classroom.
That would be great. And we also like the Classroom Heroes idea. That's a great way to spin it and get involvement. I think that's great.
Awesome.
Good. Thank you. That was one of the ideas I came up for my teachers because one of the challenges we have at our school is parental involvement. Sometimes they're a little hesitant.
Yeah. And one more thing. Sorry, I'm rambling. Sending the thank you note to the parents. I know that's time consuming, but it's so worth it. I think that is a great idea as well, and it would mean so much to them to build that relationship. And of course, you know, Studer is always promoting the thank you card. He sends them out. He sent them to us in Teacher Ready, and I love it. I think I'm definitely going to do that as well.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, we actually have a practice, and you're absolutely right about that, because we have a certain number that we want to make sure that we're sending at least in a given month, at least 2 thank you cards to somebody that are genuine. And I mean, because there are more than 2 times in a month that somebody helps you with something, but if you take time out at least twice a month to send a thank you note to somebody about something that they've done to help you, or maybe even for us, it's maybe you covered my work here in the office so I could be out at a conference or with a professional development activity. So that's definitely something that we put into practice. And when I saw that originally, when you sent the presentation over so that I could upload it into the system, I wrote down immediately on that one to try to find some like thank you note printable to make it a little bit easier. I know that, I mean, you can go buy the thank yous at the dollar store, but I always like to have multiple resources. I think that's a really great reflection. All right. Well, Kim, I think you covered everything perfectly.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You know, as always appreciate everybody. Kim, thank you for taking the time to put this together, really reflect on some resources that we could help bring to the alumni and to the students. For everybody who took the time today to, I know how busy it is at the beginning of the school year, especially if you're a first, second, third year teacher. It's even more hectic trying to find that footing and still plan, and still you're drinking from a fire hose. And to take a minute not only to develop professionally and kind of learn how to better yourself at your skill, but to join us today, I really appreciate that. It's always my favorite part of what we do is interacting with our teachers and learning myself from somebody who's not in an education background. I get to learn every time we do this, and I'm going to send follow-up. I'll send you the recording, and of course, I will let you know when. We've already got October set up, so I'll send out more information about that as well. So thank you so much, everybody, and Kim, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know how busy you are.